All right. Hello, everyone. So today, I'm just going to be playing some quick games again, but I'm also just going to be talking about some of the fundamentals of Epic and what you should expect if you are trying to figure out how to get better, especially if you have played a little bit of Epic and maybe you're just trying to figure out what I consider to be good plays or bad plays, and also just how to spend your gold and when to spend your gold, and how the economy of the game basically influences the flow. So, unlike most games, there's no ramp in the sense that right from the first turn, you can play anything in your hand. So that means that the whole game is going to be about figuring out what card and what play is the best for the given situation. It's not about building up to a turn where you can play, a bunch of your one cost cards. Usually there are a couple of weird strategies out there, but for the most part, what you're doing is you're just trying to play to your board and then also think about what you're going to do in the next couple of turns. So I'm just going to be doing quick matches, which are basically you just play with whatever game mode other people are looking for matches in. And I'm going to change my front deck here. Let's do I want to make it a little bit different. We started making this deck last time. I was explaining how you can have someone in the chat was asking about what a control deck would look like. And not necessarily a control deck, but something that was slower than the more aggressive decks that I've been playing. So I put this list together last stream, and I'm going to be playing it today for any of the constructed matches, at least for the first few. We'll see how it does. So I'm just gonna, here, we'll do this. So I'll take this one. I'm going to toss it over here, I think. All right. All right, so that's good. Great. And then let's just go and toss that evil deck right here. Evil rock deck. Unfortunately, we didn't come up with a good name for it, so that'll be the challenge for today, to see if we can come up with a name that is actually more interesting than, oh, that's not right, than evil rock deck. All right. But here's what we got right now. We got main focus of the deck is make a bunch of tokens with things like Raxa, Xenos, Zombie Apocalypse, and also just whittling our opponent down with Thought Plucker, Kong, and Medusas, and the Angel of Death. So these are our big plays, and then we have a couple of cards which are there to support the rest of the deck. So the Gudgeon is just a card that gains us cards in hand, and it protects our discard pile while it's in play because our opponent can't Amnesia us or Heinous Feast. And then Drain Essence will help gain health. So if we're up against an aggressive deck, this is the type of card that we want in our hand. And then Necromancer Lord and Final Task, as well as Surprise Attack, are all just there to help smooth our plays by giving us a way to reuse something or make a powerful play off turn. And the same goes for Misguide Herald. These are all things where we can Final Task our Misguide Herald, and then we get the Misguide Herald effect, and the Misguide Herald dies at the end of the turn, but we keep whatever the Misguide Herald got. So that's kind of the package that we're going with here. And there's a couple of other specific synergies, but that's basically the game plan. So we're going to see what Quick Match has for us today. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask. I love answering questions about anything, about general strategy, about what my favorite card is or alignment, or if you have something that you'd like to see covered, then post it in the chat and I'll talk about that. All right, so it looks like we're on random 30. Now in random 30, you get a 30 card deck. So a lot of the time in random 30, people either are learning the game or they're learning about what card effects do. So in general, in random 30, I try to keep cards. I try to keep a good combination of something I can do on my turn and my opponent's turn, as well as effects that draw me 2 cards. So here I'm going first. So just looking at these cards, let's just skim through them here. So Veldin, I don't like to spend my golds to play a Blitz champion right away. So whenever I see Blitz on a card, that means I'm probably trying to use it when my opponent's gold is down. So this is a way to punish your opponent. I'm going to mulligan that because I don't want to lead with it. Revolt. Now this card is perfectly fine. It's a draw 2, and it can also make a human token and give a Blitz. So you can think of it like a chump blocker or a quick attack. Thought Plucker, we're going to keep this because it's just a great off-turn play, and it's a really big threat that doesn't require any color like loyalty or anything like that. And then we also have Final Task and Araxis Curse, which are both draw 2s. Final Task works pretty well with Thought Plucker, so I think what we're going to do is also toss the Revolt. We're going to try and find an on-turn play. If we don't find that, then that's fine, we'll just pass. So here, I don't have a good on-turn play, so I'm just going to pass right away. This Lying in Wait is removal, so we can use it on an opponent's attacking champion, so it's pretty good there. And Amuse will be fantastic if our opponent, alright, so our opponent's going to make us discard 2. So that means that we're going to draw 2. We discard 2 at the end of a turn. We're just going to draw 2 right now. Now I think the worst card in my hand is probably this Lying in Wait or this Final Task. Now the Final Task might be hard to use, so I'm just going to use that. Even though it's really strong with the Thought Plucker, I don't want to hold on to it. And then I would normally play this Cave Troll, but because I have to discard 2, I'm just going to discard the Cave Troll. And if I play another green card, then I get to return it to my hand. So it's not a bad card to discard. I'm going to hold on to this Savage Uprising, mostly so that we can get the Cave Troll back. And then I'm also going to discard probably this Lying in Wait. I think it's the worst next card in our hand. I really like this Muse because it can keep drawing us cards. So if it stays alive, we get to draw a card every turn. And we still have a draw 2. And we also have this green card to get back our Cave Troll. So overall, our hand's looking pretty good. Unfortunately, we don't have any real threats aside from this Thought Plucker. I mean, and the Muse. They're not going to kill our opponent, but in random 30, a lot of the game is about advantage in terms of cards. So sometimes you can aggressively beat down your opponent. Most of the time, you just want to make the most use of your cards where you're either gaining a gold advantage or a card advantage on your opponent. Alright, so they're going to play Sea Hydra. Now, I'm going to play this Thought Plucker here. Now, Thought Plucker makes the opponent discard a card and I draw a card, and then the same thing happens when it deals damage to a player. So basically, what this card does is you play it and they discard a card and you draw a card, and then every time it hits them, you do that again. So this is a fantastic card to play when your opponent's gold is down. I'm actually not going to play the Muse because there's not many cards that could get rid of this, but I don't want my opponent to get rid of the Thought Plucker and my Muse with the same card. So I'm just going to leave it, and if the Thought Plucker survives, then that'll be amazing. But if not, the next turn we can play the Muse and start getting cards out of it. You know, I always wonder how people make their names. People decide what their names are. Alright, so they're going to Banishment. Banishment's really good for me because the player whose turn it is draws a card. So this is a card that I really want to play on my opponent's turn if I can. Unfortunately, they were definitely in a rough spot. I think if I was them, I probably would have played the Sea Hydra first and just held on to the Warrior Golem and passed, because I'm probably going to spend my gold on my opponent's turn. I'm talking about last turn, by the way. I'm probably going to spend my gold on my opponent's turn, and then when I do, they can then play the Warrior Golem. So it's not like they're losing anything by playing the Warrior Golem after passing. But if they had still had it in their hand, they could have discarded this and recycled. Not that they necessarily would have wanted to, but or if I had some kind of board clear to get rid of a Sea Hydra, they could play the Warrior Golem afterwards. Alright, so let's see. Let's just go ahead and play this Demon Breach to make 3 demons. That seems good right now. This will help us. This will give us a blocker against the Sea Hydra. I'm not really worried about the Sea Hydra because it doesn't have any kind of way to attack through our champion. So even if it gets really big, every time it takes damage, it gets bigger basically. Then we can still just put something in the way every turn if we need to. Alright, so opponent's going to spend their gold first to draw 2 and make 2 humans. I think that's perfectly fine. I probably would have done the same thing here, because if they don't have a good attack to make with the Sea Hydra. Probably what I would do is attack with the Warrior Golem first, since before spending my gold, because I'm going to almost definitely block with the Demon Token, or take 4 damage. And either way, it looks pretty good for them. And in this situation, I am going to call their bluff and just put 3 Demon Tokens in the way. And we'll see what happens. If they alright, so they're gonna gain control of 1 of the demon tokens. So I'm going to use Rage here to take out that Sea Hydra. Now this demon token is going to die, so I'll just have 1 demon token and they'll have all of this other stuff. So almost definitely I'm going to send my gold to play this Quell to banish all 0-cost champions. I think this really is a good example of why spending your gold as soon as you can is a common mistake in Epic. So when my opponent spent their gold to play Urgent Messengers, it put them in a tough spot, because now if I have options and I kind of know that they don't have a lot going on over here. So I'm going to play this Quell to banish all 0-cost champions. That's really strong because when this dies, my opponent gets to draw a card, so it's not going to die because it will be banished. And all of these champions are 0, so they'll all get banished, and I'll draw a card from that. And I'm also going to play this Muse now. Now, there's an argument to be made for not playing the Muse and letting my opponent play something and then, or not play something and then pass to me. But by playing it during combat, if my opponent wants to do something, they have to do it before ending the turn. So they either have to end their turn right now or play something. So I'm going to play Fire Shaman. I think I don't really have a lot of ways to spend my gold right now, so I don't think I'm going to Raxus Curse that. I'll probably end up Forked Lightning on my turn. If I miss the 4 damage from the Raxus Curse, that's fine. Alright, so I think because I can't play this Winged Death off turn, it's a bit weak right now, but we might still be okay. And we'll see if we can get more value out of it. I'm going to Forked Lightning here to kill both of these, just in case my opponent has a green card. They're probably going to recall the Sea Hydra, and then I'll just pass here. The reason I'm passing is if my opponent does anything during my end phase, then it's still my turn, so it backs up. Do you think Nala should be considered one of the Disney princesses? I mean, yeah. I don't see why not. Yeah, I mean, it's true. I guess Princess Leia is also a Disney princess, technically. But I think it's more of a genre thing. Like, the Disney princesses are all old school fairy tale style with derivatives from Grimm Tales, is it? I forget the name of it, but it's they're all from that one era. Alright, and I'll just toss this cave troll down. I mean, it's really hard to punish the cave troll here because it either survives, or if it dies, then we can get it back with the Savage Uprising. So the main disadvantage to playing it is if the opponent plays Divine Judgment or some other kind of banish all like my Quell. Alright, they're going to play Citadel Scholar. Thank you. Now, if you haven't really played much Epic, and you're thinking about what plays to make every turn, you have to read everything, and also you don't have a lot of experience with digital card games, I highly suggest playing in the asynchronous mode, the 24-hour mode, instead of real time, because real time, just the clock is punishing for new players. I think that it can be kind of stressful to play under this kind of clock if it's difficult for you to know what cards do or to make plays when you are in this kind of situation. Yeah, that's fair. I mean, that's more of a, what do you call it? Some number of nights? I forget the number of nights, but there's a lot of nights involved. But yeah, no, I know what you mean. It's probably also something to do with the fact that Nala is an animal, and they just didn't want to categorize like all those characters that are anthropomorphic as also being princesses. I mean, was the Princess and the Frog princess a real princess? I don't even know if she was royalty or if she was just it's been a while since I've seen that one. Alright, so they replayed their Sea Hydra. They also tossed this Spawning Demon down. So I mean, I could just deal 5 to them and draw a card. That's probably the best play. I'm not, well, maybe just draw 2 with Varax's Curse. I'm not really excited about recalling Demon Breach here because making some demons isn't too exciting. And I definitely can't get any value. I'm just going to draw 2 with Varax's Curse. I think that's the go-to here. You always want to spend your gold on something, even if the cards in your hand seem like they could be kept for later. I think they're human enough. Alright, we're going to go in for 2 here. Now, this Draka's Fire could be a real blowout. It deals 5 damage to each opposing champion and you draw a card. So if I attack with Cave Troll and they block with Sea Hydra, then Draka's Fire will clear the board and draw a card and return Cave Troll to hand. Alright. Oh yeah. I think, yeah, maybe it's because the mermaid turned into a human in the movie. So if they had a movie where an animal turned into a human, then it's okay. Now they're humans. Oh, they flash fired. They're getting some synergy out of this. Alright, we'll see what their opponent does here. Pretty much happy with whatever happens. The worst case for us would be no blocks, but it would still be fine. That would put him at what, 14? So we could actually try and kill them with Lash plus Savage Uprising and then Draka's Fire on their turn. Alright, so they're gonna do that. Oh, I guess I wouldn't have been able to Lash this because it would just die. Alright, they're just gonna block with the Demon Token. That's perfectly fine. Alright. Yeah, what I'm thinking is we just do Draka's Fire anyway. It's nice to clear off all of that other Aggressive Chaff here. Maybe we could Savage Uprising just to kill that, but I like drawing a card. But that is going to be a big champion. So we're going to play this White Dragon and hope that we at least have one thing to block the 12th attack here. Probably not. I think the human part